All right, what's going on, everybody? We should be live. I'm going to get this all set up, and then we will get started. One, two, three.
Oh,
Echo.
There we go. I already had the second controller set up, but I forgot to stop the echo. So as you can tell, we are currently simulating. This is the third of the 3 preseason sims. The first 2 I've already simulated, so we don't have to wait. We can just check those here after I get it set up in the server. So before we start, I think we need a little bit of context on something real quick. So, a lot of the top 3 agents who got unsigned throughout the offseason and the preseason, they have been since signed. So I feel like we have to look at where they are first just so we can get more of an accurate representation of what everybody looks like. Because everybody looks a lot different. I think it's mostly the CPU teams or the not as active teams who have signed these players because, you know, most of the active coaches had their rosters pretty much filled. So, yeah, there are some weird ones signed. Okay. I only saw a couple, including Jordan Love going to the Bats. I don't know who's rated higher out of Jordan Love and Dak Prescott, but one of them is going to start. What's good, Giddy, Pokemon, SGYT, Nick Nader, Ja, Nick, how we doing? Deshaun Watson signed with Denver. Would he be higher than Morrison? Probably. Kyler signed with London. Why? That's a weird one. Okay. I'll edit the depth charts for London and Denver. I assume they would rather their current quarterback start. CMC's on Austin. Did I miss that? Is CMC on Austin? Yep, Christian McCaffrey signed with Austin. So he is a Bat. Mark Andrews is a Falcon. Malik, this was the funniest one. Washington signs Malik Willis and Sam Howell. So I assume Malik is going to start. I think he's a little bit higher. So, of course, right when Apple retires, he gets his Liberty quarterback. So, yeah, even if you didn't have cap space, the game may have made moves for you. Like, we didn't have cap, and they signed Sam Williams and Jamari Sawyer. So, I guess those are the 2 moves that Madden's going to make for us not to break the game, even though I feel like we already have, because Najee Harris is our only healthy running back. So, if he gets hurt, I don't know what's going to happen. All right, let's look at the preseason sims, and then we'll get started. So, we'll start with sim number 1. Where is that? That is right here. So for Sim 1, I accidentally simmed past the Super Bowl rather than to the Super Bowl. So we can already see who won at the top. And, well, I think I'd be pretty happy with that result. So we'll take a quick look at the standings and awards and whatnot. So in the AFC North, they have the Ravens getting the best record in the league, with the Shamrocks and Browns both getting in as wild cards, and the Aviators missing out at over 500. Who's the Black Knights quarterback? They signed Justin Herbert in the actual offseason. AFC South, the Jags win the division over the Bison. It's been the Wizards and the Tigers at the top of the division for really all of OFL 22, so this would be a surprising flip. In the East, the Beats win the division handedly, with the Jets winning 1 game. That's not the worst record, though. Did somebody go 0-17? The Pioneers win the West, with the Broncos also getting in. The Vikings win the NFC North, with the Bears and Lions finishing with the same record, all getting playoff spots. And the Huskies missing out, despite going over 500. In the South, oh dear God, the Panthers go 7-10 and still win the division. In the East, Washington wins the division, with the Bats getting a wild card spot. And in the West, the Niners win the division, and Jesus Christ, it happened again. So for the second straight year, we have a preseason sim where the Seattle Seahawks go 0-17. Good friggin' Christ. Okay. So let's take a look at the playoff bracket. We already saw who won at the top. Skull Vikes. Gee, Seattle is brutal. There are going to be some really bad teams this year. So just be prepared. All right, here you go. Mostly all the higher seeds won, except for Carolina, who at 7-10 made the NFC Championship, beating the Bears and the Niners before losing to us. Okay, you do you, EA. This game is weird. All right, we'll take a look at the season recap screen and see the awards. So they have Justin Flo winning OFL Bowl MVP. That's an interesting one. They have Trey Lance winning the regular MVP. He wins Offensive Player of the Year as his teammate Bradley Chubb wins the Depoy. Our boy Dickie Cocklauncher wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Quincy Vance from the Black Knights wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then if you want to see all the stat leaders, Mac Jones was first in passing yards, and Joe Mixon broke the rushing title. And Alex Morton was the receiving champ. Who is Alex Morton? He's probably the Chiefs slot receiver because the Chiefs slot receiver always balls out. Bradley Chubb had 26 sacks. Will Anderson had 24. My God, okay. And Myles Garrett had 21, which is like 25 more than he had last year, or so it feels. Okay, Sim 2. So I only simmed up to the OFL Bowl for the last two sims, just so we could have more suspense. So in the OFL Bowl, we have Orlando and the Malik Willis-led Washington Commanders. Okay. What? How? Oh, okay. The Bats went 15-2. God help us all. So in the AFC North, again, just like the first sim, they have three teams making it, being the Shamrocks, Ravens, and Browns, and no Aviators, who only go 5-12. In the AFC South, it is just for wow, they have the Tigers really regressing. That's a surprise. AFC East, they have the Beats going 14-3, and the Dolphins going 12-5, with the Jets adding an extra win. In the AFC West, they have the Pioneers winning again, so they're predicting the Pioneers and Broncos to be head and shoulders ahead in this division, which I would probably expect too. In the North, the Vikings win the division. The Lions, again, get a playoff spot. That's a little bit of a surprise. In the NFC South, Carolina goes 13-4 this time. New Orleans goes 2-15. In the NFC East, they have everybody making the playoffs except for London. And then in the West, the Cardinals go 13-4. Okay. EA is drunk. Seattle wins 3 games this time instead of none. All right, so we'll sim past the OFL Bowl. Who's going to win it, the Wizards or the Washington football team? The Wizards do. All right, let's look at the entirety of the playoff bracket. The Matt Corral experience. The Cardinals are going to win 12 games. Bet on it. They did lose in the first round of the playoffs, though. So it looks like a lot of commotion happened, particularly in the NFC, with the lower-seeded team winning every single game. Every single game the lower seed won in the NFC. That's something. Okay. You do you, EA. And then the season recap, we have Patrick Mahomes winning the OFL Bowl MVP. Wow, Matt Corral, NFL or OFL MVP. Who could have guessed that one? Corral wins Offensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett wins Depoy. That's cool. Dickie Cocklauncher again wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Tavion Peppers from Toronto wins the Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then here's a look at the stat leaders. This time Myles Garrett had 26 sacks. So they're really expecting him to bounce back. Joe Mixon scored 27 times. Oh, my Lord. Okay. I think that's pretty good. And then we'll get to the last preseason sim, and then we can get started. All right, number 3 is this one. Joe Mixon is that guy, pal. So the Giants are playing somebody. We don't know who that somebody is, but it's somebody. All right, looking at the standings in the AFC North. Wow, they're, again, all 3 sims had these 3 making the playoffs and not the Aviators. How high will Mixon get drafted in OFL 23? Well, I guess it depends on what iteration of OFL 23 we do. In the AFC South, they finally have the Tigers making the playoffs. They win the division. Wizards get a wild card spot. The Beats win the AFC East at 8-9, tied with the Jets and the Dolphins. Or no, the Dolphins are last, tied with the Jets in New England. Ugh, okay. The Pioneers win the West again. The Lions win the North, with the Vikings getting a wild card spot with Toronto. Carolina wins the NFC South all 3 times. The Giants are the only team to get in the NFC East. And then the Rams win the West, with the Niners getting a playoff spot as well. So who is the AFC team in the OFL Bowl? It's got to be one of the relocation teams. So it could be Chicago, or it's not Orlando because we're using them. It could be the Pioneers, the Shamrocks, or the Beats. I think it is going to be... I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dublin. I think... Oh, it is Dublin! Look at me! I knew EA was going to get weird. There you go. The 7th-seeded Dublin Shamrocks in the OFL Bowl. Who could have thunk it? Looks like the lower seed in the NFC didn't have as much luck, other than San Francisco. All right, let's see who they have winning between the Giants and the Dublin Shamrocks. They had the Giants winning. So Naruto gets another ring. Oh, good lord. Mac Jones wins Super Bowl or OFL Bowl MVP. Mahomes wins regular MVP. DeMarcus Lawrence wins DPOY. They have Dickie Cocklauncher winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year all 3 times. I guess that's not a surprise because he's in the 90s. And then Tyrell Sherman of the Bears wins the Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then for the stat leaders, here we go. Myles Garrett only had 20 sacks this time. So a little bit of a downgrade from what he's been doing. Isaiah Likely finishes 3rd in receiving. I mean, based on how he played last year, I guess that is kind of likely. Joe Mixon is a stud again. He's been the rushing champ all 3 times. All right, there you go. So I'm going to fix the quarterback situation for Denver and London, because I assume they don't want those guys starting. Is it OFL 4 or OFL 1? It's OFL 1. That's the last one I saved it on. And then we can get started. All right, let's take a look at the polls, because I'm not fully sure who won each week. Deshaun was supposed to play for my team, not his. Okay, so we have a 3-way tie for first place between the Ravens and Aviators in week 1, the Browns and Wizards in week 3, and then the Niners-Vikings in week 4. And keep in mind, we're watching 2 games. I think those are probably the 3 best games in total, so you guys did good with this vote. So we have to vote which game we don't want to watch. So if you don't want to watch Ravens and Aviators, type in Cock Launcher. If you don't want to watch Browns Wizards, type in Broncos Country. If you don't want to watch Niners and Vikings, type in Hector. So if you don't want to watch Ravens Aviators, it's Cock Launcher. If you don't want to watch Browns and Wizards, it's Broncos Country. And if you don't want to watch Niners and Vikings, it's Hector. Browns, Wizards, yeah, they all 3 of them have 12 on my screen. So that's how it's a 3-way tie. Broncos Country, Hector. It isn't a tie. Ravens Aviators has 11. My screen, it says 12. Here's this. I'm going to count them up. Okay, Ravens Aviators does actually have 11. Discord's lying to me. I'm not blind. Just to double check the other ones. Browns Wizards has 12. Our game has 12. So, there you go. Blame Discord for lying. So I guess in that case, we'll be simcasting the Ravens and Aviators for week 1. And then since the Wizards and Washington won week 2, that's going to be the game we simcast for that week. And then week 3, we're going to watch the Browns and the Wizards. And then week 4, we're going to watch the Niners and the Vikings. All right, so let's get our friend Siri in here. Siri, are you ready for a new season? Siri's not sure if they understand. Okay. Give me a number between 1 and 2. 1. So I think that would be Baltimore, because the Aviators are probably home, I would assume. Brooklyn, Miami, and Baltimore, Columbus are tied at 11? Oh. Why don't we just simcast both? I'll be nice. Since we're simcasting, we're not going to do the whole jersey spiel. We're just going to hop right in. So the first game of the final season of OFL 22 between the defending champion Aviators led by their new quarterback Dickie Cocklauncher taking on Dan and the Ravens. Good start offensively for both teams, particularly the Ravens, who are up by 10. Aviators only able to get a field goal. They've got to score a touchdown here, and they do. We're going to go a little bit slower. The Ravens just scored. 46-yard touchdown for Stephon Diggs, and they get the 2. So if Columbus scores, maybe we hop in. And they do. If they get here's this. If they get a stop, we're going to hop in. Although I don't know if that's going to happen. 2nd and 2. They got it. So Baltimore will defeat Columbus here in the first game of the season in a pretty close matchup between two teams who should be towards the upper end of the standings. 31-24. So for all the Aviators haters out there, if you look at the bottom of the standings, it is just the Aviators in last place. It won't. Why is Cocklauncher wearing 25? What? Okay. You do you, EA. Dan balled out. Cocklauncher was fine. We got to change that jersey number. Zeke with 69 yards. Nice. DJ Moore balled out. 2 sacks for Chandler Jones, 1.5 for Will Anderson and Brandon Smith, and then no interceptions. We almost should keep number 25 just for the memes. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2. 1. This is for Brooklyn's game against the Dolphins? Was that the other one? Yeah, and Brooklyn is 1. Do you guys think we should keep Dickie Cocklauncher's number or should we change it? There's a part of me that wants to keep it for the memes, but like once we get in a watch game and actually have to watch that, I think I'm going to puke my brains out. So I'm not really sure. Did that just say the game was starting at 7? Oh, Monday night. Oh, because of the 2 Monday night games. Okay. That explains it. Because I was like, what game starts at 7? But that makes a lot more sense. Keep it until we have to watch them. That's probably the correct answer. Jeez, everybody wants to keep it. You guys are menaces. It's raining here in South Beach. It's raining defense for the Beats, who started the game with a safety. And, oh my, Brooklyn's hot. They are hot. It's almost like Jeff Sims isn't that good. Although the Dolphins are fighting here. We're going to go slower. Both defenses are playing pretty well. Dolphins turn it over on downs, it looks like. Beats out a field goal. Not looking good for the Fins. 4th and 10. They get 10, which is not enough. Okay, so this game's pretty much over. Or maybe not. They convert and interception. Oh my God, Jeff. What are you doing? He could have had his pick of the litter at quarterback. And I give C-Mill credit because he's built a really, really good roster. But Jeff Sims, 51% completion percentage, is not going to cut it. Although Joe Burrow only completed 56%, so I guess he wasn't that much better. Evan Neal allowed 3 sacks. That's a lot. Nick Bosa had 4, though. 2 for Draymond Jones, 1 for yours truly. Oh, I forgot they had this guy. I forgot about that. Thanks a lot, Jeff. He could have went after... Well, he didn't really have enough money in the preseason, but even so, he could have gone for Kyler or Watson or any of those guys in regular free agency instead of, like, I don't know, one of the linemen. He gave some linemen some money, including Evan Neal, who allowed 3 sacks. All right, so we've gone through our 2 Simcast games for week 1, so that means we can sim out the rest of the week. What did you miss? So you've come at a pretty... Oh, my Lord, we lost. Is this going to be a theme? This is going to be a theme, isn't it? So we've done the preseason sims, and we just simulated the first week. So you haven't missed too much. And there you go. The Bison lose to the Tigers in a close one, 28-25. Did Josh Allen get hurt? It appears that Josh Allen might have gotten hurt. And Carl Browning didn't do too bad, the rookie out of nowhere. Literally. Alvin Kamara was very good. J.K. Dobbins solid along with the now healthy in real life Jamison Williams. The Black Knights beat the Niners 39-35. I see London still has no defense, and they're still winning games. Trey Lance and Justin Herbert both played very well. I'm not going to let light mode and compact mode stop me from going 4-0 today. I apologize that you have to deal with that. That sounds brutal. Nick Chubb was quite good. Matthew Boyd, Detroit Tiger legend, and Khalil Lawrence with over 100 yards each, and then Cash Considerations, whose name I still have not fixed, caught 3 touchdowns. So the rookies making an impact in the receiving game here for London. Broncos country, let's die, as they lose to the Pioneers despite a big comeback in the fourth quarter. Jerome Diggs was solid. Andy Morrison quite good. Deshaun Watson on the bench, where he belongs. Joe Mixon with 3 touchdowns. I guess kind of disappointing for how good Joe Mixon was in the preseason sims, which more so tells us how good Joe Mixon is. The Browns beat the Saints 34-16. So a good win here for Cleveland. Russell Wilson back into MVP form, while C.J. Stroud got sacked 6 times. I.T. Thomas, back like he never left. Hey, he's improving. Instead of 3.1, it's at 3.6. Auden Tate was very good, as was Tommy Tremble. 2 sacks for Christian Barmore, 1.5 for Danielle Hunter and Javon Kinlaw. And Shannon Crydell had a pick. The Bucks lose to the Shamrocks 27-20. Dublin outscored them 20-0 in the second half, although Tatum Parrish, the new quarterback, did outplay Lamar Jackson. How about that? Jonathan Taylor was pretty good, as was Terrace Marshall. Should we talk about options for 23? I think we should do that when we get into an actual game, because when we go through all the scores, that's just like a lot to look at and talk about. So I feel like we should when we get into a game. The Matt Corral experience is 0-1 as they lose to the Huskies. Who's starting for them? Justin Fields, that's right. And he severely outplayed Matt Corral. This is a Justin Fields revenge game, by the way, because Fields used to play for the Cardinals. Shaq Barrett, 3 sacks, 2 for Brian Asamoah, and the rookie, Tavion Peppers. The Chiefs lose to the Jets 21-3. Both of these teams are not good. Vince Bryan is starting against Seth Reynolds, a couple of rookies. I think the highest rated player in this game might have been like an 85 overall, and I'm literally not exaggerating. These 2 teams are brutal. And I guess it did in fact end up being brutal. Who? That's a good concern. The Wizards handled the Diablos 35-20 in a rematch of what could have been the AFC Championship if Matt Corral's meat wasn't up in EA's throat. Good win for the Wizards. They start the year 1-0. We saw that one. The Falcons lose to the Panthers. Carolina should have no problems in their division. Bryce Young played very well. Atlanta did make the playoffs last year, though. But they did lose some guys. The football team loses to the Giants in, I assume, Malik Willis's debut. Yup, he played, and he was pretty mid. Mac Jones leading the way for the Giants. Saquon Barkley now healthy after missing most of last season after he was like the MVP through 4 weeks. Jordan Birch with 2 sacks. The Jags beat New England 17-14. Not a lot of offense. Noah Syverson was solid. Kyle Taylor is starting at quarterback for the Patriots instead of Demarius Johnson, which I guess looking at this stat line, it's basically as if Demarius Johnson played. (13-10). We scored 10? How did we manage to do that? We outgained them in every... Oh, that's why. Hector was not very good. Outplayed by Shane Arsenio, who is now starting for the Lions. Najee Harris was solid. Who else did we have running the ball? Rashad Bateman and Hector. I guess that's what happens when you have no other running backs. I was told Hector was better than... It's 1 week. Let's pump the brakes. Odafe Owe had 3 sacks. That's not good. Who allowed all those sacks? Rashawn Slater. Did I not give you a handsome extension in the offseason? I'm pretty sure I did. So I'm going to need more. The Bears lose to the Rams in overtime, 41-35. Carson Strong is very good, as is my guy DJ Uyunglele, both throwing for 4 touchdowns. The Seahawks get killed by the Bats, 31-7. Did you lose in week 1? No, you guys won. DJ sucks. DJ had almost as many touchdowns as he had incompletions. Hugh Richards is starting for Seattle. Yeah, there are some bad starting quarterbacks. Also note that Dak is starting instead of Jordan Love. What happened to McKay? Oh, did he get hurt? He had 1 carry. It went for a touchdown, to his credit. But I take it that he got injured on his first touch as a bat. It's already unraveling in Austin. They did have a lot of sacks, though. I think we've seen everyone now, right? Because we started with the Aviators. Correct. Players of the week are Carson Strong, Russell Wilson, Shaq Barrett, and Nick Bosa. I want to see what happened to CMC and Josh Allen, see what their deals are, and then we'll get into week 2, which is another Simcast. We want the Bison. Nope, Josh Allen is good. And then the Bats, CMC is also good. All right, so week 2 is the Wizards and Washington. Siri, give me a whole number between 1 and 2. 2. That is Washington. Washington lost, the Wizards won. So we'll see if both teams can keep their streaks going. And this was one of the 3 OFL Bowl matchups we had in the preseason sims, ironically enough. And we're going to watch the Wizards in week 3 when they play Cleveland. So this will be a little sneak peek on the new look Wizards. I want the whole game. There we go. Good start for Malik Willis and Washington. Am I supposed to root for Malik Willis to do well or not? I don't really know. Close game. Both defenses are playing well. Commies are now up by 10. Wizards answer back. We're going to go slower. Oh, the Wizards had the ball. Mahomes gets sacked twice. And Younghoe Koo misses a 60-yard field goal. I feel like they should have punted. Malik Willis chokes out the drive. We're going to hop in here. 3-point game, 2.5 minutes to go. So the Wizards' offense looks a little bit different. They still have Mahomes, but they have some new rookie receivers with Jerry Wilkinson. I think that's his name. I think he was picked at 2. And then user player, Vatchan Kodali. I think Kodali is wide receiver 2 and Wilkinson is wide receiver 3 behind the $40 million man, Davante Adams. Oh, what a punt, by the way, down at the 4. Our first what a punt of the year. Malik Willis, what a guy. Tyreek Hill revenge game. That is true. You're right. Tyreek Hill gets to play his former team, who did not pay him for Lord knows what reason. Remember when I picked that end of the Patriots? I feel like I was somewhat justified because his profile picture was of the Patriots, and he DM'd me to pick that end as New England was pretty much on the clock. So I wasn't going that crazy. The Wizards have all 3 timeouts at their disposal, so there's no excuses for them not to score, although Mahomes is dinking around. Mahomes is a guy we know can throw deep, although he lost both of his deep threats, because they also lost Kadarius Toney, who is another guy who's made plays for them and watched games. So I guess Mahomes is kind of scared to test his new receivers. Nobody paid him except for the Vikings, who Tyreek didn't even want to go to for whatever reason. I would say it worked out because I probably wouldn't have been able to get Buckner or Derwin James. So I guess in the end it is all good. Although I think I have like 5 or 6 X factors on defense and none on offense. So that would have been nice for, Tyreek to come along. Our offer for him was like 100 points, so again, I have no clue why he didn't accept, but he's a troll, I guess. But at least I can say I tried. 30 other coaches didn't. McLaurin is a superstar, Hector's a superstar, Najee's a superstar, Pittman's a superstar, Ike Ekwonu is a superstar, but none of them are X Factors. Tyreek wanted to play for the reigning MVP, obviously. So Tyreek wanted to lose in the divisional round instead of, I guess, still the divisional round. Finally, Mahomes goes deep, and he just overthrows his target. I think that was Kodali, the rookie. Hector really is not X Factor. I don't think he went up last year. He's still a superstar. Mahomes goes deep again. He has an open man. It's Davante Adams for a touchdown. Who needs Tyreek Hill when you have Davante Adams? The longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneer who finished, I think, in the top 5 for Offensive Player of the Year last year with the Bucs. So Malik Willis in Washington will have 18 seconds. I'm afraid of what Mahomes is going to do to our defense. At least he doesn't have Tyreek Hill and Kadarius Toney to throw it to, I guess. But Davante Adams and the rookies aren't too bad either. Watch out, cameraman. Davante's nearby. So I guess they might just start right away with the Hail Mary. Although they had 3 timeouts, they shouldn't. They should try to run some plays first. I guess they're not. Or they are. Okay, that works. That puts them in manageable position to actually do this. With 5 seconds left, are we going to get some crazy EA magic to end the game here in Week 2? Willis should have enough arm power to get it there. He does. Is it caught? No, it's not. Oh, that was close. But the Wizards are going to hang on for the win with a game-winning touchdown with just seconds to go by Davante Adams. So the Wizards are 2-0, while Washington is 0-2. Did he actually catch it? Let's see. Yeah, he caught that all right. But he didn't get the feet in. Or did he? It's kind of hard to tell. Oh, he's still in the air. That's why. It's number 80 who caught it, Austin Hooper. Okay, so I guess he never touched down until, like, right here. Wow, that's literally inches. That's, I would argue he might be in. Because it looks like right in here, his butt is down. I don't think he's touching the white. I don't think he's physically touching the white. Oh, he doesn't have the ball. I thought it said intended for Hooper. 87 has the ball and he's out of bounds. Okay, just disregard what I said. I thought Hooper had it originally. So I think that's probably why I got confused. And it must have, like, teleported into 87's hands. Because it looked like Hooper had it at first. Malik Willis was, again, pretty mediocre. Mahomes, quite solid. Nobody ran the ball well. Who is Washington's running back? Jerry James. Who are you? Who did they have last year? They had, I think, Aaron Jones. I don't think Aaron Jones signed anywhere. T. Higgins with a big game. And then defensively, a couple sacks for Yannick Ngakoue. Why isn't Ty Z your starter? I definitely made Ty Z the starter. So, unless he got injured, I vividly remember making him the starter. So, I think that would be on EA rather than on me. But I'll just double check. But again, I remember making him the starter. So, this is all EA's fault. Yeah, that is wrong. Oh. So EA probably made him the fullback. Because EA wants to outsmart us. There we go. All right, we'll simulate through week 2, and then week 3 and week 4 we have our actual watched games. Will you do my depth chart? Did you do your depth chart before we started the stream? Although I guess I do allow depth chart changes within weeks, so I'll do it. But you did have like a week plus, so just saying. Let's see, the Niners. Okay, so the Matt Corral in Arizona thing might not really work out. Yeah, Trey Lance is pretty good. He's pretty good. As is Nick Chubb. And Khalil Lawrence, who's been their best receiver 2 weeks in a row. The Giants are 2-0. I guess they beat Seattle. That's not really an accomplishment. Mac Jones with a big performance. Hugh Richards wasn't awful. Saquon with a nice amount of yards. Darren Waller with a big day. I forgot they had Darren Waller, to be honest. The Huskies are 2-0. Is Toronto back? They might be. Justin Fields with a big game, outperforming Shane Arsenault. Why is Miles Sanders getting... Did Dalvin get hurt? I guess. Wow, Jimmy Jackson with a big game. 6 for 166 and 2. Davion Peppers looks like the real deal. He has 3 sacks. The Jags are 2-0. They beat the Bison. Noah Iverson was pretty solid. Derrick Henry, nice amount of yards. Are they just not playing McCaffrey? What the hell? What? Why aren't they playing him? I am so confused. Why is Breece Hall starting over him? Okay, you do you, EA. I don't know what that's about, but okay. The Jets fall back to earth. They lose to the Dolphins 42-21. Both teams now 1-1. Wow, Jeff Sims was actually pretty good. As was Vince Bryant, who I guess won the starting job over Daniel LaRusso. The Panthers are 2-0. They beat the Bucks 42-26. Bryce Young played very well. Tatum Parrish was pretty good too. He's good against the worst team in the league. That's quite an impressive win. New England beats the Diablos 34-20. I don't think the Diablos are coming back to the AFC Championship. Marlon McWidget, I forgot about him. He, I guess, is their starter. Did anyone ever sign Baker Mayfield? I don't think so. Poor Baker. The Pioneers beat the Chiefs 34-0. It is going to be a long season in Kansas City. Jerome Diggs is that guy. Seth Reynolds is not that guy. Joe Mixon is that guy. Demarcus Lawrence with 3 sacks. The Rams lose to the Broncos 34-15. That's got to be a score-gummy. Andy Morrison and DJ were both pretty eh. The Ravens are 2-0. They beat London 35-27. Dan's off to a nice start this season. Justin Herbert gets sacked 6 times. I almost said Jordan Love. I'm used to them still having Jordan Love. Hudson Henry was the leading receiver. Should you be a quarterback or a wide receiver? That is a good question. I mean, IT Thomas, the running back, could probably start at quarterback for some of these teams. So, I mean, I guess QB maybe. Atlanta handles New Orleans. Be a left tackle. It's got a user offensive lineman. Seattle, oh, did we already see this one? Yeah, we did. Dublin is 2-0, and the Aviators are 0-2. So maybe those preseason sims were onto something. 34-15 is not a score-gummy. Pain. Dickie Cocklauncher played well. So did Lamar Jackson. Has our boy Omni done anything yet for the Aviators? If they even made their final roster. The Tigers lose to the Bears 35-14. Carson, wow, he had a perfect passer rating 2 weeks in a row. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, Tyzee is your starting running back, and that Jen is wide receiver too. Unless EA messed that up too. Oh dear, we've scored 24 points in 2 weeks. Can we, start a season like a normal football team for once? Joe Burrow plays well. Hector, again, was pretty mid. I guess Hector got his contract and then decided not to care. At least Miles... Oh, my lord. A.J. Terrell had an interception. This game is trolling. I would have been perfectly okay with anything else as long as A.J. Terrell did not do something good. That's unfortunate. Yeah, Madden's being mean. Have we gone through every game? I don't think we've gone through this one. The Bison beat the Browns 35-24. They scored 28 in the second half. Wow, that's impressive. Russell Wilson played well again, as did Josh Allen. Alvin Kamara, nice. IT Thomas, 3.4. Typical stuff. Kayvon Thibodeau off to a good start this year. Maybe all he needed was a change of scenery. And who did we user? We usered the... Who did we user? I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure we've gone through every game. We usered the football team. That's right. Okay. I was told Hector was better than Russ. Well, I don't know. EA's trying to be mean. Players of the week, Carson Strong again, Lamar Jackson, Nakobe Dean, and Aaron Donald. All right, I'll fix Dublin's thing, and then we can get to week 3. I was told Hector was better than Trey Lance. Well, he is. Again, it's only 2 weeks. We want the Aviators. The game has Sam Laporta over Emmanuel Green. The game knows how good Sam Laporta is. Is Simpson here? Nope. Is Harris here? Yes, he is. Why are we checking their depth chart? Because they asked. Because they needed to make changes. Is Zion here? Zion is not here. And then for defense, there's Mr. Omni, who I guess he doesn't want as the backup. Is there a Hennigerson here? Nope. They had 4 weeks. That's true, but if I allow everybody else to make depth chart changes during streams, then where's George? There's George. Then I guess it's fair that I allow them to, although most of the backups he has listed aren't even on his roster. He has DeForest Buckner as his starting defensive tackle. DeForest Buckner is on my team. Is this the right depth chart, bud? I'm going to need a correct depth chart in order to actually do it, because I know DeForest Buckner is definitely not on his team. So, yeah, that's not on me. All right, for week 3, we have, which game? The Browns game against the Wizards. Orlando is home. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2. 1. That is the Browns. So both of you guys can pick your jerseys. Nick appears to have already done so. He wants the all white. Which ones are the white pants? Perfect. And then for the Wizards, I guess we can't really have them wear white because the Browns are, so I guess that kind of makes our decision for us. Odds that Joe Mixon wins the Offensive Player of the Year. Considering how he performed in the preseason sims, I would say quite high. I think if we were voting and didn't put quarterbacks in the race, Joe Mixon probably would win it all 3 times. I want all purple. Well, perfect. Although they don't have purple pants, but that's because EA's lazy. Our first full watched game of the season. We've got the Browns and the Wizards. This was supposed to be our AFC Championship last year, but EA is a company, and they're not a very smart one. And we'll leave it at that. Orlando will start the ball, so we'll get a look at Patrick Mahomes, who is pretty good at football. He has some new receivers, and so far that has not been an issue for the Wizards, who are 2-0. The Browns, meanwhile, are 1-1. It looks like the AFC North might be pretty good this year, so Cleveland certainly doesn't want to fall behind because the Shamrocks look pretty good, the Ravens look really good, and the Aviators just won the championship. Although their coaching staff apparently still doesn't realize DeForest Buckner is not on their team. So maybe they're still having too much fun at the championship parade, even though that was close to a month ago. Can't wait for Adams to torch Denzel Ward. Tazee Howard loses a yard. Who's 52? Is that Jamin Davis? It sure is. That could have been intercepted. That was close. Now on 3rd and 11, Mahomes throws it to absolutely nobody. What was he trying to do there? Like, it's 3rd and 11. You might as well not throw it away. You might as well try something deep instead of throwing it to the grass, but okay. Unfortunately, the grass isn't a player on the roster. I know the Wizards have a lot of new receivers, so Mahomes is still trying to figure that out, but unfortunately, grass is not one of those receivers. So now we get to see Russell Wilson and the Browns. I think he's seeing ghosts, yeah. Are you sure that's not Sam Darnold under center? Here's IT Thomas. 3.5 yards a carry so far this season. He gets 5. To IT's credit, he is better in watched games than in the sim. so he should be able to make some plays today. He usually has a 40-yard catch just about every week we watch the Browns. Speaking of 40-yard catches, Tommy Tremble ends up getting about 40. I can't wait to be the only win the Vikings get today. So is the Niners' watched losing streak going to be back? Back like it never left. Although I don't think the Vikings look all that scary. So I don't know if I'd be concerned if I was you, because we've scored 24 points. Roughing the passer, a late hit on Manny Lamb. No, it's early, but the Browns look quite good so far. Here's I.T. Thomas. Can he break away? He will not, because he's I.T. Thomas. Jets might change quarterback. They should. I love how all their players who accidentally liked the tweet, essentially slandering Zach Wilson, all went back on it as if they all made a mistake. Like, what's the chance they all accidentally liked the same tweet insulting their quarterback? Is your change of direction 0? It might be. 3rd and 7. Russ had IT open, but instead he's going to go to a different open player for a touchdown. Is that Tyreek Hill? Welcome back to Orlando. So Tyreek Hill, the longtime Wizard, will put Orlando down 7-0. So a good start here for Cleveland, and now the Wizards will get the ball. Russ hates me. Maybe Russ does, but maybe Russ was also trying to get Tyreek Hill to score because Tyreek Hill has some baggage with the Wizards, who didn't even offer him a new deal. Although Tyreek Hill could have got $90 million more with us, but okay, Tyreek, you do what you want. Is your team still bad? You guys, I think, are 1-1. So, I guess you're not bad. You're either 1-1 or 2-0. I know you beat the Niners in Week 1, who are good. And I feel like the Black Knights lost in Week 2, but I don't fully remember. So I guess maybe we'll see him on the bottom. Don't turn into AB. Rate my offseason 1 to 10. Well, I guess because you got, like, OFL caliber starting corners, it has to be like a 12. Just because you finally address that position after, like, 20 years. Is that all the Black Knights are going to need to get over the hump? Is that caught? No. Good defense. Second and 10. Mahomes fires, and he is inbounds, it looks like. Yep. Why do you have Kyler? Because EA is weird. I made Justin Herbert the starter because I figured, I don't know, you'd probably prefer that, even though Kyler's higher. But Herbert did start the first 2 games. But you have Kyler Murray on your team, so if Herbert struggles, then I guess you got a backup plan. Second and 11. Mahomes misfires. He had an open receiver there, but pass was not a good one. What is Kyler's overall at running back? That's a good question. It's probably pretty high. I thought for a second that'd be picked off. Looks like he's shy of the first down, so the Wizards are probably going to have to kick. You could rationalize going for it here. It's only a 4th and 1. They're going to take the points. So Orlando is now only down by 4. Cleveland's coming off a good first drive. We'll see if they can do it again. Yeah, if Lamar's an 89 at running back, Kyler is obviously going to be a little bit lower, but I don't know, 85-ish? That'd be my guess. Although he's probably like a 50 power back, and you need some power to do well in the sim. But I guess that would be an interesting experiment. Can Kyler Murray not suck balls at running back? That's a pretty good throw. Is that Tyreek Hill again? That looks like a single-digit number. Yep, Tyreek Hill wears number 5. And Russell Wilson is 5 for 5. We are, in fact, live. What is good, C-Mill? You guys lost in week 1, and you won in week 2. Jeff Sims had almost a perfect passer rating, but it was also against the Jets. So, yeah, I think one of those could throw for a perfect passer rating against the Jets. Why does Russ not have his X? That's a good question, because it definitely was on when I fixed the depth chart. Why is Madden doing all these things? I literally remember going through your team's X factors. And I know Russ was on. So, I'll fix that after the game. I don't know why that is the case. Did Madden, like, reset it once I simulated to the regular season? That would, I guess, be my best guess. Good run. Because I did all the depth chart changes in week 1 of the preseason. So I guess it would be possible that Madden resets it to start the regular season, which is stupid. I don't know if that's true or not, but I definitely remember making sure that X factors for the Browns were right. Because most teams didn't request X factors. So the ones who did, I know, are correct. Well, IT Thomas looks like he's in the zone, at least with the prior run. Maybe not that one, although it did go for a first down. Who did you lose to in week 1? You guys lost to the Brooklyn Beats. Russ looks to throw it. Nobody's in the backfield to stop him. He could have ran it in. It's like the Aaron Rodgers play in the NFC Championship game a few years ago. Now 2nd and goal. And he goes short for the score. That's not Tyreek Hill. That is Devontae Smith, I'm pretty sure. So 2 drives and 2 touchdowns for the Browns. Do you have a top 5 line? I don't know, probably. I mean, I'd have to look closely at all the lines. I'm not an OFL offensive line expert, unfortunately. But I know you guys signed Penei Sewell, so that's good. So now the Wizards' offense kind of has to do something. They've had 2 drives, only 3 points. And Cleveland's offense, on the other hand, has been really good. So Mahomes is going to say, let's get crazy. Let's go deep. And he overthrows his target. I think that's Kodali again. Mahomes just doesn't look like himself in this game. Penei Sewell and Elton Jenkins both 90+. Well, that's pretty good. Now 3rd and inches. They're probably going to run it. They have not ran the ball well at all today. And fittingly, I don't think he got it. Nope. Jaden Jackson is stuffed by Bobby Wagner. And this is going from bad to worse quickly for the Wizards. Orlando's 2-0. They're still in a good spot. But you'd also hope to see a better performance in a watched game. Oh, fumble! And it's picked up by the Wizards. Okay, well that changes things drastically. Was the ball out, though? Are we going to get a review? Yeah, it's not going to be a fumble. Whenever they review a fumble, it's not a fumble. So, sucks to be the Wizards, I guess. Yeah, he's down. That's not a fumble. Right there. Knees down, still has possession. Madden is so predictable with their fumbles. I've noticed in Madden 23 it's a little bit less predictable. So I guess that's good. But Cleveland is going to get the ball back after all. IT Thomas is in the zone. Ironic because he shouldn't even have his X Factor. They have one of their receivers in the zone. Is that Jamar? As they go for their favorite play, the good old jet sweep, the Cleveland Classic, and I guess it works because they got a first down. Where is Jelani Salami? I feel like he got traded. I know the Jaguars signed him to kind of a nice contract. I don't know if he's still there or not, but I know he was on the Jaguars. I know Pepper Jack's a big Jelani Salami guy. They switched the field they're defending. Yeah, why is that? This is the same way the Wizards were driving, but common EAL, I guess. EA doesn't really know ball. They're going to throw it on 3rd and inches. And it doesn't work. It should have been intercepted. I guess normally I'd agree with that, but with IT Thomas in the zone, I feel like he could have done something there. Are we going to get another water punt? We are not. As that rolls in the back of the end zone. Jelani Salami is a top 5 nickname in the OFL thanks to me. Well, what is Jelani Salami's competition? The Wizards' offense just looks like it's completely closed the playbook. They still have a few deep plays, which is their bread and butter. But this just doesn't feel like the Wizards' offense from previous years. Although that was a nice throw. Is that Nick Boyle? It's Vatchan Kodali, the user player of 23 yards. Now the Wizards have it past the 50. We only have 2.5 minutes on the half, so they've got to... Ooh, that should have been intercepted. So both teams drop picks. What kind of coverage was that? Why did Jamin Davis go away from the receiver as the ball was being thrown? That's not good coverage. I feel like if you see the ball being thrown your way, you should try to get closer to the ball. Especially on a 3rd down. I guess Joe Woods hasn't left Cleveland yet, has he? Mahomes goes deep. He's got 2 guys back there, and neither of them catch it. Good play by the corner. Is that New York Jet legend Denzel Ward again? Mahomes is intercepted, but it's caught out of bounds. Do the Saints run read option? The Saints playbook in Madden 22 is pretty pass happy. I don't know what type of runs they have specifically in there, but I know if you want your quarterback to put up good numbers, that's the playbook for you. Oops, I'm late. What is good, Denmark? Welcome in. The Cardinals, I believe, are 0-2 so far. So not the best start. Doink! Did that just doink in? What in the world? Okay, it doinked in. Yeah, if you want an option playbook, the Ravens one is probably the way to go. That's the best, I would say, run-happy playbook. So a lucky bounce for Wizards. I see EA still hates Nick, even though it's been, close to 20 full OFL seasons, and that still hasn't changed. I assume it will never change. That was intercepted out of bounds. So why are the defensive backs only catching the balls out of bounds? Russ is now going to chuck one deep. And, yeah, these defensive backs only catch the ball when it's out of bounds. Why is that? Got to go to my friend's basketball game. We'll have fun. I.T. Thomas gets a big old nothing. Let Russ cook. Well, on that possession, Russ was cooking... he wasn't cooking anything good, put it that way. He was cooking whatever the opposite of Domino's is. So the Wizards can tie it with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. I think the Browns have been way better in the first half. So in other words, a normal Knicks/Browns game where his team plays really well and it doesn't always reflect on the scoreboard. And now the Wizards are going to look to strike, and so far, so good. They still have a timeout at their disposal, along with a minute. We've got to keep moving fast. They're down to 30 seconds. Even a field goal would not be a bad ending to the drive. Now it definitely wouldn't be a bad ending because Mahomes takes a big sack by Bobby Wagner. Yeah, he should have got rid of that ball. What was he doing? They might just run Hail Marys. Honestly, that's not a bad idea. A Hail Mary or something quick out of bounds. Not, in other words, don't do that. And they're not going to have time to run another play. So we already have our first clock management here in Season 5 as the Browns lead 14-6. So OFL 23. Yes, let's talk about OFL 23 as we go through the second half. So I want to write down all of the options that we are considering just so it's easy for me to organize when I put up the poll, which I might do before the next stream. So we first have to figure out what type of OFL we're doing. Once we know that, we have to figure out who's going to want to coach, and then the team selection process, which I feel like people are going to choose their teams based on what type of OFL we do, so I feel like we have to figure that out first. You saw your rookies are balling. That is correct. Your guys are playing well. All right, so let's run down all of our options for OFL 23. So first, we have normal OFL, which is what we've been doing. We do a fantasy draft with normal rosters. We sim a year. We have relocation, pretty much the same as OFL 22, but on Madden 23, which I guess with franchise mode and immersion is probably better. Okay, option 2 is retro rosters on a current Madden. So I would have to check what type of past rosters are on the Madden 23 roster share. Ideally, close to like the 2010 range. Probably nothing beforehand because we don't want to go too far back. But like 10 to 12 years ago is really what we would be ideally looking for with past rosters. So that's an option. Another option is retro OFL entirely on like a retro game, whether that would be like an Xbox 360 game, which I would have to stream off of my computer, and I still haven't exactly figured out how we would make that good quality, because the last time we tried to do that, it was a disaster. Another option could be like an old PS4 Madden, like Madden 16 or something. I suppose that could work. Madden 16 was fun, in my opinion. I don't think we'd be able to edit the draft classes, unfortunately, but still, that'd be what, like 2015 rosters? So that'd be fun. That would work. Normal OFL, but with channel legends. So it would be the same as normal, but the addition of OFL legends and main channel legends added to the draft pool. That's an option as well. Anything on Madden 20, because Madden 20 OFL was everyone who was in OFL 20's favorite. So those are probably all of the options. Can you watch games on Madden 16? I assume you can. I don't think it's like the game play settings itself would be too different. So I imagine that would be like a thing. Which I'd be able to stream that off of the PS4 pretty easily. And I still have my PS4. I still have my controller, so we'd be able to do that. I'm pretty sure I had the disc version of Madden 16. I don't know if I still have the disc for it. But I would figure it out. I can't imagine it's expensive on like the PlayStation Store. So those are probably all of the options, which we're going to have a vote on pretty soon. Good kick for the Brownies. So it's now 17-6. So with our OFL options, we would want to figure out like some of the other stuff. Once we figure out what type of OFL we're doing, whether it's retro or normal or whatever it is, we would have to figure out if we want to do a fantasy draft, which I think all Madden servers before Madden 20 were taken down. I don't think that would really matter if we did like Madden 15 or 16 because, again, I can't really download draft classes, so I would just use the current rosters in the game, so I don't think it would really matter with the servers too much. And I think the auto-gen classes in that game were pretty fun. I think Madden 16 is when they implemented the new scouting. So I think the old scouting was probably a little more fun. That's definitely a fumble. That ball was clean out. So like Madden 15 with like the previous scouting, that would be cool. I don't know if I have Madden 15 for the PlayStation, but I don't think it'd be expensive. So yeah, I think Madden 25 was the first one for the PS4, I think. So, like, Madden 25, Madden 15, that could be an option. Madden 19 was the first. Madden 19 was the first one where you could download draft classes. But I think Madden 16 was the first one where it was the 3 top skills. And then Madden 15 before that was more manual. I think Madden 16 is the first game with development traits, too, I think. IT Thomas is the next Derrick Henry. I don't know about that, bud. So, where was I? So, I want to figure out, once we choose what type of OFL, if we would do a fantasy draft, I think realistically, if we want to do something on current Madden, we probably would do a fantasy draft, and if we do retro, we probably wouldn't want to do a fantasy draft, because I think it'd be more fun with the retro rosters as is, as this game is now a simcast. So I guess Cleveland should be able to win handedly. But along with figuring out a fantasy draft, we're probably going to do relocation pretty similar. Again, unless it's retro, which I'm not entirely sure how that would work. Especially if we use an older Madden. Although I think like the old PS4 Maddens, like Madden 25 and Madden 15, I think they had the same relocation stuff as they do now because EA is a lazy company and they don't care about their product. So I think the teams, for the most part, would be the exact same. If we do retro, what are we gonna call Washington? That's a question. The Wizards are low-key making a comeback. Okay, now it's over. Okay, so the Browns win 31-20, but Washingtons. That's what we're going to do. Although if we use current Madden, it won't really matter. Patrick Mahomes was solid. Russell Wilson was very good. Nick Boyle caught 10 passes. So both teams are now 2-1. But Washington, Dan Snyder's has a ring to it. Or Washington Sell the Team Dan Snyder. Now that's a good name. Or we could call them the Washington Red Tails or the Red Wolves, because that's what it should have been. IT had 5 yards of carry. Look at him. Improvement. Ooh, I want to fix the Browns' X Factors. That's right. IT has that it factor, or I guess that IT factor. So you want Russ, I assume Russ, Hill, and Chase, unless you want Tom Brady, which I would hope not. Why would it be Amari Cooper? Okay, that's weird. Why would Amari Cooper get it? Because normally when Madden automatically does it, they give it to the 3 highest rated players that they can pick. So why would it go to Amari Cooper, who is not higher than... IT's a 99? Albeit with morale, but still, Jesus Christ. How is he a 99 and still not averaging 4 yards a carry? I am concerned. What is good, Danny? Welcome in. All right, let's see our scores for week 3. When is your first game? What do you mean? Your first watch game or what? The Bucks, in fact, are not good. I wonder how many times McCaffrey got the ball. Over-under is set at 2.5. I guess the under wins. He did not get it once. I don't think he's hurt. Why is this game like that? Oh, dear God. Okay, so they're just not good. Yikes. Poor Matt Corral. God damn, he was bad. I think all the Matt Corral haters, which I know there's a lot of you guys must be enjoying this. The Chiefs are 0-3. They finally score more than 3 points at least, although they lose to the Diablos, who are not good. What is your record? You guys are 2-0 so far. We'll see what happens this week. The Dolphins lose to the Lions, 36-31. Shane Arsenio's not doing too bad. Jeff Sims was pretty good too, to his credit. Who's been the best player? Probably Carson Strong, considering he had a perfect passer rating 2 weeks in a row. The Ravens are 3-0. They squeak away from the Falcons in overtime. Brady Boatwell was a little bit better than Dan, though. Has Osiris done anything cool? Well, his team is 3-0, so I guess that's cool. And he had 11 tackles. I don't know if that's a good thing for a corner, but at least he didn't miss a bunch of tackles, I guess. Washington is 0-3 as they lose to the Bison, 23-17. Malik Willis, not even mediocre, just bad. The Niners beat the Seahawks barely. Shouldn't be this close, San Francisco, but okay. Hugh Richards was good. Bradley Chubb, 2 sacks. The Aviators are on the win column. They beat the Giants. Although Dickie Cocklauncher was pretty blah. Per Adam Schefter, Jets head coach Robert Saleh told reporters that he's not committing to Zach Wilson. Instead of not committing, he should just put him on the bench because he blows. My Jets agenda is depending on you, Robert. Make the right move. Although, to be fair, I said the Jets would make the playoffs if Zach Wilson took a leap. And obviously he is not. He's taken a leap to the ground. But even so, the Jets agenda would appreciate if you put him on the bench where he belongs. The Huskies are 3-0. Wow, Justin Fields has actually been surprisingly good. Jimmy Jackson is killing it. He's salty he got last place for Offensive Rookie of the Year. The Jags lose to the Tigers. Noah Syverson got injured, and Kenny Pickett, actually both quarterbacks played really well. Syverson didn't throw an incompletion. Trevor Lawrence also with 4 touchdowns. Is that Christian Ellis? Their backup is Christian Ellis. Huh. The Pioneers cut him, and I guess the Tigers signed him. The former top draft pick who stinks. Speaking of stinks, the Jets stink. The Bears beat the Panthers 29-17. Trevor Siemian versus Mike White is in play. My God. Carson Strong regressed, but his team still won, and he still played well. Yeah, that's the quarterback who was a 55 X Factor. I think he's like a 65 now. That guy that did the coin flip at the beginning of the season has been perfect. That's just like the Raiders coin flip last year. It lasted like most of the year. Oh, wow. New England is 2-1. That's weird. Okay. Kyle Taylor is that guy. The Pioneers are 3-0. They squeak away from the Beats. 38 to... Wow, what a fourth quarter. They outscored them 24-7. Jerome Diggs was good, as was Joe Burrow. The Beats folded 2-1. Still a good start for Brooklyn. Joe Mixon is that guy. The Rams lose to London. Good win for the Black Knights. Justin Herbert, 4 touchdowns. DJ not too bad. A lot of the undefeated teams are losing. There aren't many left. Off the top of my head, I know the Pioneers and the Ravens are. And there are certainly a couple others. Why does this team suck? The Saints are terrible. Okay, now I'm officially concerned. Although Hector was better today. But still. How are we losing to New Orleans? How are we losing to this Kyrie Harris guy, a rookie out of Youngstown State? I went through all of that hell in the offseason and have made my team completely broke just to start 0-3. Now, at least Myles Garrett is playing better. That's good. The bad is everything else. We had the same record as the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, at least we almost doubled our point total from last 2 weeks. Not that that says much. Gee whiz. Who did we start with? We usered, I think, Cleveland. The Bats beat the Buck. Oh, we saw that. 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 We saw that one. And that's everybody. Who's the best team in the NFC North? Everybody except for the Vikings. I'm pretty sure, yeah, the Bears are 2-1. The Lions are 2-1. And the Huskies are 3-0. Players of the week, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson. Hey, Myles Garrett, even though his team lost. And Jalen Johnson. All right, that'll bring us to week 4, which we got the, let's see. It's our game. Oh, great. Do I even want to watch our team? Siri, hold on. Siri, give me a number between 1 and 2. 2. That would be us. Oh, boy. So if we lose this, we're going to be 0-4. We are watching, which by halftime I'm going to bleach my eyes out. We are a 90 overall. I feel like we should be higher, but even so. 90 overall team lost to the Saints. At least the first 2 teams we lost to are good, but the Saints? All right, which jerseys do we want to rock with? Which jerseys are going to give us good luck? I feel like all purple. All purple versus all black. Is that going to be hard to differentiate? No, I think that'll be fine. Can I pick your unis? Honestly, yes. You can pick our jerseys because your team has the magic touch. Pick whatever you want. As long as it's not black, because that's what the Niners are wearing. Pick whichever combo you want. Whatever magic touch I have on this team is gone. He's right here. Which jerseys do you want us to wear, Mr. Hector? The Vikings don't have the black jerseys, so I guess that won't be an issue. All purples. Oh, that's what I was going to wear anyway. Do they even have purple shoes? Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much what I was going to wear anyway. Monday night prime time, the Minnesota Vikings currently sit at 0-3, for whatever reason, taking on the 2-1 San Francisco 49ers. Minnesota kind of needs a win now before everything falls apart. So, we kind of could use a win. The NFC North is good. There appears to be 3 other good teams, so to fall this behind this early is not ideal. Why is Hector wearing 10? I think he's always worn 10, at least for my team. Holding on, I thought they said kicking team. So already a penalty, and we haven't even had a snap yet. Okay, it's not bad. Hector's been playing better each week, but he doesn't really look like himself. He hasn't had a pass rating above 100 yet. Najee Harris hasn't done a whole lot. Here's a little trickery. Is this Henry Ruggs? No, that's Bateman, although he looks as fast as Ruggs. A gain of nearly 50 for Rashad Bateman. They called that a pass. What is Dax Hill's rating at corner? I think he's like an 81-ish, I think. The offense looks quite good so far. Where has this been for the first 3 weeks? Professional running back Rashad Bateman. And I guess when we have literally no backup, although I think Kareem Hunt is healthy next week, so we'll have a backup after today. The Niners barely beat Seattle, so if Minnesota wins, it's Mickey. We need any type of win. I don't care if it's Mickey Mouse. I don't care if we have to cheat. I don't care how we need to do it, as long as we can win something. Because through 3 weeks, we have not been able to. If your team loses to New Orleans, there are some pretty big issues. That was a questionable decision, but okay, it works. Henry Ruggs with the touchdown. And the Minnesota Vikings are on the board within the first couple of minutes. Is Lamar worse than Joe Flacco? No. Now we get to see lap dance Trey Lance, who's been pretty good through 3 weeks. So far, the Niners haven't needed a quarterback carousel, which, in case you do, I think Baker Mayfield's available. Do we play you? We are in the same division. So, yeah, we would play each other twice. Lance has been a top 2 quarterback so far, and he's not number 2. I mean, minus the fact that there's a quarterback who's gotten a perfect passer rating twice, I would say that guy's probably top 2 and not 2. Although that quarterback also lost to Trey Lance in the playoffs. So, I guess that's an argument. Although Trey Lance didn't win his team the playoff game. Why are we challenging? That's such a waste. It's a 10-yard gain. And he definitely got both feet in. So not only is it a waste of the challenge, but it's also a bad one. Has Justin Fields been any decent? He's been better than Hector, put it that way. But through 3 weeks, Fields has been surprisingly good. And the play stands. Who would have guessed that? I'm expecting Nickinator to invade my DMs for Brady in the case that Lance goes down. Nah, I got Bailey Zapper. Who is Bailey Zapper? Good hit by Derwin James, who I have moved to linebacker. I feel like Derwin James is going to be pretty good there. Although it hasn't translated to wins yet. You think you know why Minnesota is 0-3? We'll spill the beans, because I do not know. Was that a late hit? The reason why this team sucks is they have no discipline. Youch. That's not good. The last time we played the Niners in a watch game, I'm pretty sure it was the game where Trey Lance completed like 90% of his passes and still lost. Stupid challenges. That's a good answer. The challenges and the discipline, it runs back to the coaching. Can I fire all of my coaches? Because on paper, I think my roster is probably the most talented in the league. Maybe I'm biased, but I mean, we are 90 overall with literally no depth. So, and the controller's dead. Great. It is reconnected. Why would I have to quit? Is it going to make me quit the game? No. Okay, my controllers work. Oh, is it the other controller? Oh, I thought my main controller died. Okay, good. I was going to say. Well, I guess I can log this controller out because I'm not going to need it.